as Deputy Managing Director in Lama Tiles Group Malaysia. Current activity includes manufacturing and selling concrete roofing tiles, roofing solution products, and metal door frames throughout Malaysia, Vietnam, and Cambodia. Without further ado, I invite Mr. Gary to speak first.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for attending to this talk. Very much appreciated, especially some of our customers who came all the way down from different parts of Malaysia. Especially our guest speaker, Mr. Brad Rice, who flew all the way in from Perth to Pudong, China. Now, also, I would like to extend my welcome to our competitors, Monia, who is all the way at the back. Not a problem with that. Thank you for coming as well. Thank you for coming as well. If you could help sell some ventilators for us, it would be greatly appreciated. Now, my name is Gary Tan. I'm the Deputy MD of Lama Tiles Group, and I'm Malaysian. After my speech would be Mr. Brad Rice will be giving his speech, and Brad is the one who invented the Zephyr. So, before I go on, I would like to explain to everybody. About the company. Lama Tiles Group. We are a concrete roof tile manufacturer. We have a factory in Seremban, which manufactures concrete roofing tiles, and we also have Lama Metal Products, manufacturing metal door and window frames in Seremban for the central and the southern region. We have a factory over in the north, in Juru, near Odo City, manufacturing of concrete roof tiles and metal door frames as well for the northern region. And we have another factory in the east coast, Lama Tiles Timor, manufacturing of concrete roof tiles. And of course, we have one factory in Ho Chi Minh City in Vietnam as well. The Vietnam side is an exportation hub as well as distribution to entire Vietnam and Cambodia. We are a very old company. Lama Tiles started producing roof tiles in 1962 under the Butterworth Brickworks, and which has now changed name to Lama Tiles Utara over in the north. And in 1964, Lama Tiles Seremban was established to produce concrete roofing tiles, the Lama 62 profile as well, which the profile was phased out in 1980. And Lama 66 to 1982. And we also have the rain bar in 1966 as well. Currently, one of our current products, which was sold in 1982, is still in production, and this will be the normal roof tiles that you find in most housing projects. Still in production. And after 1982, the launch of Lama Roman, our company has been really quiet. We held our breath without coming out with any new products for complete silence of 33 years. We were very quiet throughout all this time. 33 years, no new products. And eventually, we held our breath, not breathing for 33 years, no new products, until eventually we turned green. And we end up turning green product, which complements our industry as well. Now, the Zephyr consists, is one. It's a standalone which you can install in your house. Your designs of the house, whereby you can install it in such a way that you can end up having a much cooler roof. One of the components is our Lama tiles, coupled with breathable dry ridge and heat fixing, as well as our radiant barrier, roofing foil, that's what they call in Malaysia, roofing foil. And also in combination of the Zephyr, we end up having our cooler roof system. But since today's talk is about Zephyr, but I will roughly run through so that you know what we are talking about. What is Lama? Lama is our new tiles, which we have just launched yesterday. First appearance in public yesterday. It's a high solar reflective index tiles. And it has a photocatalytic smoke eating features by converting nitrogen oxide from the air into nitrates, mineral salts. Nitrogen oxides, all of us are responsible for it because the minute we start our car engines in the morning, you burn hydrocarbon fuel, you get nitrogen oxides, right? And they are the culprits where we see certain parts of China smoke, right? So Lama has the ability to filter that out into solid mineral salts. And this was actually tested and proven. The material has been tested and proven by Fraunhofer laboratories in Germany. But we are not here to talk about this product today. We have our cooler roof system. So you can see 4 products, cooler roof. This is the star that we are talking about today, Lama Zephyr. Now, for a clearer explanation as to how everything works, we have an animation here. We have our normal heat radiating through the tile into the roof space. That's for the normal tiles. This is what happens most of the time. So you end up getting a really hot roof. We have our cool-pack system from the Lama tiles that reflect a large portion of the rays away so that you get a tiny little arrows of heat going into the roof space. But you have radiant heat still coming in. Imagine it's really, really hot and it's really, really uncomfortable. Roofs, right? Why do we say like people like black roofs? Take for example black roofs, right? Roofs are nice. They look classy. They look professional. They look modern. More black roofs. Very beautiful houses, black roofs. Some contrast of dark colored walls as well gives them a really good feeling of designs. But black roofs are hot. How often would you find a cat walking in the middle of the sun on a black roof? Take note the next time. You probably wouldn't find any, right? The cat goes really, really hot, right? The roofs are heated up really quickly. We have examples on our booth later on. You can have a look. That goes up to about 70-80 degrees roof surface temperature just in absorbing heat on black roofs. On our Lama product, we've done some tests with our thermal imager. We found that there is a big difference in temperature between black and light colored roofs. We are looking at something around the 10 to 12 degree temperature mark. Very big difference in temperatures. And take note, these pictures were taken on roof tiles on a rack, where you get ambient temperature, wind, moving air, flowing at the top and the bottom, at the same time cooling down the tiles. So if you were to put these tiles up onto the roof, where the roof space is all sealed out, you will get much higher temperatures as well, much higher than what you see here. We have even tried with high solar reflective colors. In our Lama tiles, we could only bring temperatures down about 8 degrees, right? But 8 degrees out of like something on 57 degrees, it's a lot. It's surface temperature, it's not the roof temperature, it's not your house temperature. So the difference actually comes down to only a little few degrees. So it's not really good enough. You have a cooler roof, but it's not really that cool. So here we have the solutions to a lot of developers in your home. You can have a black roof, which is not so hot. The solution is going Zephyr. So here we have a product that relies on sun energy to remove heat. As we know, the sun is the one that causes anything to get hot. So we have now a product where the sun works really hard. The Zephyr works even harder to remove the hot air. And this part, I would leave it to Brad later on to explain how everything goes, how the flow goes, and how it's calculated, as how many Zephyrs, and what sort of temperature differences you would expect. But what we are trying to mention here, moisture, renewable fresh air, healthy living, okay, can be attained by Zephyr. If you need a bigger solution, you got a house with black walls, really, really hot, right? You can go for the Zephyr 50, which is a 50-watt solar module, which has much more flow. Previously, on the Zephyr 30, which is 30-watt module, you only have 1,200 meter cube per hour of air movement, but on this, you have airflow of 1,500. So you have architects, developers, homeowners. Now you can be assured that your black roofs or your dark colored roofs would no longer be a big issue. But again, if you have an existing roof of a different color, that would also, the Zephyr can also bring the temperatures down as well. Now, what are the benefits on residential having a cooler roof system with like a Zephyr? You have a huge reduction in your cooling cost, right? It's rather subjective how much can you save, right? Let's take, for example, we did a rough calculation. If you had 2 air cons and you switch it on like 5 hours a day, especially when we sleep, the cost of electricity in Malaysia, you probably end up getting your money back in about 2 years, right? But again, most houses are air conditioned nowadays, right? So with the Zephyr, you actually save money because you feel the same in the house. When you go home, you put like, oh, aircon, let's put it at 22 to 23 degrees. The thermostat adjusts the temperature down to 22 to 23 degrees. You won't feel the difference with the Zephyr on. But the difference is your aircon compressor doesn't need to kickstart that often, right? You know sometimes like when you had aircon and when all of a sudden you get dimming of the light, is where the compressor kicks on and it draws current, right? You end up saving energy, electricity costs with the Zephyr. Now, Zephyr is a remarkable product. You go to work at 8 o'clock in the morning, he goes to work. You come back at 6 o'clock in the evening, he stops working as well. The only difference is Zephyr works 365 days from about 8 o'clock to 6 o'clock, and he doesn't get paid any salary. Another feature is the Zephyr have a long lifespan. Brad will elaborate on that later on, what sort of expectancy we are looking at it. Stealthy aesthetics, there you are having this product, right? A black UFO looking product. It looks like some of the American satellites on airplanes or something like that, you know, or on the VIP cars you find like a TV satellite dish, right? Rather than you have a big silver spinning ball on top of your house that makes it look like factory. So you have stealthy aesthetics. We have flashings that go with the product. That's also profiled to our roof tiles. And some other options of universal flashing as well. That's on the residential side of things. Now, what the Zephyr can do, a lot of people don't realize, is a damage reduction due to high moisture. We have a lot of moisture in the air. What do you think happens to the water in your bathroom after you take your bath? Where does the water go? It goes up. You boil water, you do the cooking. Where does the water go? It goes up. You mop the floor, it dries up. Where does the water go? It still goes up. So all the water goes up to the roof. So you have like a really high moisture area up in the roof space that which you have to remove. Otherwise you get decomposition. I believe some people have mold or fungus growing at certain part of your house. Right? We know mold and fungus, when we breathe in, is bad for health. Right? And you have wooden trusses in some old houses where you get lots of moisture, you get all getting them all bent up. You have metal trusses, although it's coated, on cut areas, they are not coated. right? So they could potentially start getting rust from there as well. So Zephyr is able to suck all this out. For industrial, right? For industries, what the Zephyr can do is actually make temperatures in the factory stable. You can have a minimum or maximum deviation of temperature in a factory, which is not really good for things like your storage. We have a long lifespan solar panel, right? Brad will discuss about this. Now, what I'm trying to emphasize here on the Zephyr is the flow rates. As you can see, this means lebih kurang, approximately, because we can't really give you, there's too much variations in the different brands of different brands, different claims. Everybody claims gas turbine can move so much air, it's so cool, you know. Everybody gives a figure, but nobody gives a figure that has been certified. So this is an approximation. So to prove it, what we would do on the flow bench and see what happens, right? Zephyr and fitting a turbine onto the unit. Make the Zephyr spin, but before he does that, can I have a volunteer who with very good fingers to spin this? Can I have a volunteer here who's really strong? This gentleman over here, he's actually really shy. You know, he's Gary as well. So Gary, hi Gary, I'm Gary. Now, can you spin this way? Right, this is how the turbine spins. Put your fingers and spin it as fast. Do you see it spinning faster in a factory? I think it's about, so that reboot. It's already a storm, right? So do we see anything moving in it? No. The ball's down. Move the styrofoam, right? Now, some people may say, oh, he's spinning it, but this thing needs wind to move. So David, give it wind. As long as don't come up with a tornado like Dumont. All right, let's see. Okay, it looks like it's slower with wind. So we have a product which is spinning fast, but it's really not doing anything. Who has this in his house? Anyone have this at home? Saya punya rumah ada, tapi dia punya debu semua naik atas. Okay, now we know, we see the performance, it doesn't move anything. It's moving air, I'm not saying it doesn't move, but it's moving so little air. Now, can we have the Zephyr onto it? So what we have done with this flow bench setup is to put two spotlights to simulate artificial lights. Now, the ironic part is with these spotlights is solar panels don't work with LED lights. They don't. You can put big LEDs in it, just not going to generate any power. So LED gives a light. So that tells you that sunlight and LED lights are different. Okay. So we have the normal old school spotlights, and this is a 30-watt panel, right? This is a 30-watt panel. On a normal afternoon, you would get maybe 20 to 25 because we do have clouds up there blocking some sunlight. So we'll switch this on, right? And we see what it does and how many watts it's producing. Okay, it's connected, right? So you can actually see the amount of vortex it's producing and amount of vacuum it's creating to be able to suck the ping pong ball up on the tube, right? Now the thing is, how many watts is this? This thing is capable of 30 watts. We have a 50-watt unit. How many watts is it producing to be able to create this effect, which you see, wow, it's more than a turbine. Can we have one interesting member, let's say Mr. Casey Ong? Could you come up to the stand and read out to the consumers how many watts this is producing? They won't believe me otherwise. Yes, Mr. Ong. Thank you very much.
It's my pleasure.
You're very welcome. Oh. Now, this is what we call a watt meter. We all know, engineers will know, watt is energy, right, equals
ampere multiplied by voltage. If I put an ammeter or voltmeter, you will have different amperage on it, right? So it's really hard to tell how many watts it's producing. So this calculated, can you read out the one with the W, how many watts it's producing? Yeah, the one with the W.
11
W watt. Okay, so thank you very much, Mr. Casey. So now you have 11 watts producing this. Out in the sun, you will have like 20 plus watts. So what happens when you have like 30 watts? Can we give it 30 watts? Can somebody give it 30 watts? Oh, yes. So I'll need another candidate to feed it 30 watts or maybe 30 plus watts. Can I have a skeptic? Someone who doesn't really believe that it's working. You're a skeptic?
No.
Sorry, Mr. Henry. Who is Mr. Henry? Mr. Henry, thank you very much for coming. Right? Okay, so now it's producing 11 watts. This should produce about 30 plus watts, right? So can David show how Mr. Henry to give it 30 watts? Right, 30 watts. Now it's nothing. He's going to feed it. No, let him plug it in. Let him plug it in, right? And see what happens to it. All right. So this is 30 watt. The effect of 30 watts. And is how many watts is it producing? 34. 34 watts, right? This is the effect of 34 watts. The ping pong ball is almost. Spoke too soon. Ping pong ball has gone up, right? Thank you very much, Mr. Henry. So this is the effects of Zephyr, right? It's something that really works and really sucks hot air out from the roof. No bull. Now, to make others go green, okay, other faces go green, and really green with envy, we are giving some specials during Architects. As you can see, there is 1988 installed and 238 installed. If I spoke anything more, CIS is going to throw me out because I'm not going to promote the product this way. So here we are. We have a product under our cooler roof system, right? Lama Roofing Solutions and the Zephyr. If you're interested in to know our other products, just bear in mind we can't disclose to you too much secrets, but we can demonstrate to you what it can do. Do come to our booth at the far end of Hall 5. Hall 5 is really small. We are at the end of it. This is the exact location where we are located. Come to see us. So now what I'll do is I will hand over to our expert in solar, Mr. Brad Rice, the designer of Zephyr. Thank you very much for your attendance on my behalf. I'm only allowed 1 hour for both of us. Brad?
Thank you, Gary, and thank you to Lama Industries for inviting me to speak today. So you've seen a lot of the story from Gary already. I'm going to move on to how we came to find this application for solar power. My business and with my joint venture partners and myself in Australia, we like to find efficient, sensible uses for solar power. Because solar power is very practical. I'll skip past some things here. It's a very practical thing. I mean, the sun shines every day. You know, we're all going to wake up tomorrow morning and the sun will be shining. You can count on it. Trust me, it'll be there. So what we want to do is find. Okay, so we find ways to harness. It's situated perfectly in the solar system. You've got other planets all around our Earth which do not support, okay, yes, they support life, maybe some small microorganism or something like that, but they're covered in solar dust, or they're too far from the sun, or they're too close to the sun, they're too hot, like Mars, far from the sun. The Earth is perfectly positioned in the solar system to have just the right amount of solar irradiance, so it doesn't burn our skin when we go outside. It supports life, human life. So our sun is perfect for us where we're positioned in the solar system. If we could harness all of the energy that the sun produces daily, none of us would need to do anything but rely on the sun. So that is the challenge for solar engineers around the world, how to capture that energy, how to store it, how to discharge it for effective use. That's what we like to do. On this slide, I just have some simple things that you'll be familiar with Gary, do you have the pointer? Gary's got a pointer for me. Thank you. So, you know, we've all seen sort of little gimmicky items like this. So we have a little tiny solar panel here, and it discharges, it gathers energy and discharges immediately to the little fan sitting right on your cap. Okay, same with the little monkey here that runs along the wire. Okay, this is a very simple use of solar energy. Solar panel here, discharging immediately, the energy goes to the little toy, and the toy runs along the wire. On this side, we have solar power that is stored. So here we have a solar panel. Okay, it stores the energy during daylight hours, and during the evening, it's a clever device. Once charging cycle is finished, as soon as the device senses charging from the sun is complete, it begins discharging immediately to this light. It's a solar-powered security light. So you put it on the front of your factory or your house or your car garage, charge all day, discharge all night. Once again, a very effective use of solar energy. So here we have direct discharge, here we have charge and store, and of course, on your calculator, on your office bench, you have this device. Very small solar panel. We call this technology one of the older solar technologies. It's called amorphous silicon. It's a very simple little grey cell. It can use something as simple as a light. As a light, the lights in your office give enough energy to charge this. You use your calculator anytime you want. The energy is stored and it discharges. My company in Australia, we do a lot of lighthouse or research station houses. These houses can run for 3 days from 1 day's charging with 1200 amp hour battery. We have a complete control system here, converting the DC energy, because solar panels, of course, produce DC energy, direct current, and the control system here converts that to AC energy from the battery and back into the property when people are cooking or using the lights or using their computer or whatever. So this is an example of charge, store and discharge. Also have an example here, a large-scale example of direct discharge. So we have the sun shining on these large amorphous silicon solar panels. They discharge directly to a deep aquifer bore pump. So we're lifting water from 40 metres below the surface of the earth, and we're putting it straight into a cotton field. This is in a part of Australia we call New South Wales. We have a lot of water under the ground, so we take the sun's energy, we use it to pump the water to the surface and use it for agriculture. In this case, our client was using around about 120,000 Australian dollars worth of diesel fuel every year, okay, to pump this water. So in this case, his payback to install this solar system to completely remove any need for any diesel fuel was around 3.5 years. The useful life of this plant is 25 to 30 years. So if you could have an investment that paid back in 3.5 years with a useful life of 25 to 30 years, I think you'd be pretty happy. So these are examples of what my company has done in our quest to find good applications for solar energy. The Zephyr is one of those applications. I'll just show you a short video on energy. You can see how big they are. 150 kilowatts of solar energy on this project. In Australia, we have a lot of flat land with no people. So this is a very remote location, nowhere near any kind of grid energy supply. This is the diesel pump we removed. So this was our very first deep aquifer bore pump. So to some extent, when you put a theory into practice in the field, you hold your breath for a moment until the day when you turn it on, and you hope you and your client become happy together. So there was a lot of waiting. being patient, and this project took around 2 weeks on site to execute. And here we have our first water. First water went very red for a moment. So we have a water license in Australia. You need a license to pump water. We have a water license for about 2 gigalitres of water a year on this remote site. So we use solar power, harness the energy, pump the water, and directly discharge to the agricultural application. So for the Zephyr is exactly that. So it's a smaller scale of what we've just seen. We have solar energy captured on the top of the Zephyr. It directly discharges to the fan, which is an electromagnetic fan. It is a brushless fan with a packed stainless bearing, so it has virtually no friction. Drives the fan blade, and it effectively extracts the hot air out of the roof. The problem here that we're solving is the superheating of the roof. It doesn't matter where you live. If you live in a hot environment, your roof will superheat. And you know, we're doing a lot of things beneath the ceiling here to try and keep this environment cool. But if up in here we've got 70, 80 degrees Celsius because of the superheating cycle, then it gets harder and harder. So what the Zephyr does is it addresses the superheating cycle in the roof space. In Malaysia, we estimate somewhere between 65 and 75 degrees in the roof space. In Australia, we get up to 90 degrees in the roof space. Okay? All that is between you and that high temperature is some gypsum board. So what you need to do is keep that air circulating, removing the superheating cycle from the beginning of the day to the end, so that the air never sits there long enough to superheat. It remains cool. We're talking sunrise till sunset, so horizon to horizon, with no ongoing cost at all. There is absolutely a zero cost operating profile to this product. The useful life of the solar module on the Zephyr, we think is around 25 to 30 years. It's a long life. The module on the Zephyr is a monocrystalline module. We have around 3 different commonly used solar technologies. We have polycrystalline, monocrystalline, and amorphous silicon. If anyone has any questions at all, we'll try our best to answer.
Any questions, anyone?
Well, we do thank you for attending. Please visit the Lama Tile stand to see the product and see the demonstration models. And thank you once again.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for